What is going on, everyone? Probably just need to wait a minute for people to slide in here. Hope you guys are happy. I decided to stream real quick just because I'm honestly I think I'm losing my mind here. I genuinely really think that I am losing my mind by the day, honestly. And I can't just be alone right now. I can't be. I'm just waiting for some of you guys to pop in the chat. What's going on, everyone? I see you. I see you. I hear you. How are we all doing today? How are we all doing? I'm trying to find my stream, but I'm really struggling here on desktop. I don't know why. Here we go. Found it. There's the link. Let me go ahead and boost that right to Discord. What up, Ibex? How are we doing today? Hope you're doing really well. This stream is honestly, it's in regards to a short that I have, and there's like comments on the short, and it's just crazy. It's absolutely insane to me, and I'm hoping that we can settle the score here in this stream. Because to be completely honest with you, I have no idea where this misinterpretation started. Like, I have absolutely no idea whatsoever. And I'm curious to hear what you guys all think because like this whole idea that Megumi and Sukuna like have different versions of the 10 shadows despite the fact that Megumi is very clearly like is just Sukuna is taking advantage of Megumi's curse technique. I think that is very clear. I don't think they have separate pools whatsoever. I think it's very obvious that they're using two completely different abilities here. What happened in Mojiro or Modulo Chapter 4? Honestly, Modulo is getting really, really good. That's also apparently a controversial take as well that people think Modulo is bad, but honestly, Modulo is doing really good in my book. I've been enjoying the last couple of chapters. Chapter 5 just came out. It's about to come out soon. The TCB just dropped, so translations drop usually a little bit early on Friday compared to Sunday. But either way, like you know, Modulo's been good lately, and you know me. I always like to go through some of the misinformation that's going through in the Jujutsu Kaisen community. And one of the bigger things that has come to my attention is that people don't understand like the whole Sukuna and Megami Ten Shadows thing. That seems to be such a debated topic when I don't understand why it's debated whatsoever. I feel like it's made pretty obvious by Gege that they use the exact same. Gege has gone back into the story to fix things to show that they use the exact same pool of shadows. I didn't know this was like a controversial take. What do you mean debated though? People literally say that Megami and Sukuna have different shadows. Like people, what's up, KK? How we doing? We're JJK fans. We can't read. You can't win. That's really what it seems like. Genuinely, it seems like a lot of people would just rather like believe headcanon than like genuinely like actually see what the story says because people don't want Megami to be severely underrated in like any kind of future content. And that's just kind of what it really is. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps the stream way more than you know. I know sometimes the vertical streams are way weirder to find the like button for. But yeah, I didn't think that this was a controversial thing. They use the same, but I think Sukuna is just such a beast as cursed energy. I don't know though. That's why I'm here. LOL. True, true, true. I mean, like quite literally, when it comes down to it. Like I mean, there was even the whole big deal that people think Sukuna's shadows, are like people think Maharaga's shadows are stronger for some reason as well. Like there's also that whole narrative, but where Maharaga is clearly the exact same strength. What's going on? What's up, Georgia Jenkins? What up, FNAF? What up, your anime goated? I do like Five Nights at Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy is a fun series indeed. What up, Daniel Saint the Kid? My question is, does the curse technique apply to the person or the soul? Because how is he making Megami take the burden of adaptation? The burden of adaptation is definitely one of the weirdest things that Sukuna does in the entire fight. Like, Sukuna using using Megami to bear the burden of the adaptation, I definitely think is like, all right, bro, you're doing a little crazy shit. But Sukuna used them more intelligently, using the shadow form in combat. Yeah, I completely agree. Tiberius, thank you for being a member for 30 months. I think people forget about totality though. Maharaga dying would influence one of his remaining shadows. Megami end of series, Divine Dog might go crazy. 110%. What up, China Doll? How are we doing? I thought it was clear that they used the same 10 shadows. I 110% believe that I thought it was clear too. I thought it was very clear too, but apparently it's not. Did you already tackle the point that Megami used in the final chapter as well as use it to help Yuji against Suguna in his domain? So the biggest thing that I see and where it really comes down to it is, despite the overwhelming evidence, in my opinion, to the contrary, I have here the short. It's one of the newer shorts on my channel. You can definitely go check as if you look on my channel and click on it. If you go to the shorts, it's the third to most recent How Sukuna's Shadows Work. And if you look in the comments, the third top comment here is actual big misinterpretation. Sukuna does have a different technique. Him and Megami do not share the same 10 shadows. This has 236 likes, by the way. The techniques are exactly the same, but have two different sets of shadows and owners. Sukuna states that with Maharaga gone, he's lost the 10 shadows as a whole, but when Megumi wakes up, he uses the shadows to catch Sukuna, and in the epilogue, he summons Divine Dog. They have different independent instances of the same technique. Otherwise, Sukuna wouldn't have said, I didn't do this, instead of, my technique isn't gone, this is gone, this must be Megumi. Which, like, is just, I don't know how that has to do with anything. Hey, officially 2 years, China Doll. That is insane. Thank you so much for the constant support. Seriously, I really, really, really appreciate it. Like, thank you so much. Like, stuff like that really does make a big difference. So I genuinely appreciate it. Like, thank you for the constant support over the 2 years. I can't believe it's really been that long. Everyone W's in the chat, like the stream for the insane support. Is the eighth grader that beat Megami still on the loose? You know what? That's a good question, honestly. I've seen so many crazy takes on Megami since the Modulo sequel has dropped and all these crazy memes. I think Suguna was just bitching that his only useful shadow was dead. Yeah, I completely also agree with that. You know what's crazy is whenever I turn on these streams, none of the people that like are going crazy in the comments ever show up. It's just ridiculous. It's terrible. It's honestly the worst because all of you guys always agree with me. This happens every time. And like, yeah, I think like Sukuna and Megami, like you guys, like honestly bring me back to sanity sometimes. You guys need to, that's why I need to do this more often, do the vertical streams more often. Genuinely, you guys bring me back to sanity. You remind me that there are genuine people that read Jujutsu Kaisen in the world. Because sometimes it feels hard to see. Could Megami use Maharaga now? Well, if Maharaga destroyed, it's kind of like what Tiberius said, right? Where Maharaga would potentially just become a totality if Megami decided to do this. Didn't think this would be up for debate. Again, it's one of those things that you never really think is up for debate until I, get into my YouTube shorts and it's crazy. So one thing that happens to me all the time, right, is I make my YouTube shorts based off of things that I see in my comments. And I always, always, always get like a comment that's like, you're making you're making this take up. Like me say, like I made a quote, like trying to confirm that Yuki Tsukumo isn't weak. And like anyone that's been here long enough in the community knows that Yuki has been getting dogged on since she lost against Kenjaku. It's so obvious that she has been getting dogged on. China Doll, thank you for the 10 gifted. I appreciate that love. That's big time. Thank you so much. W for all the new members in chat. Don't forget there's a Discord that you can join. Don't forget that there's a Discord you can join. But like it's just like let me go ahead and continue reading what is said to me, right? Because like people, like obviously it's YouTube shorts, so you can only take it with a grain of salt, but like people are literally in there like saying that like oh, like no operator is stupid, like he's always wrong, he has the worst JJK takes, which that's fine. If you want to say that, that's okay, but say that for my opinions, but don't save that for the things that are genuinely like just like real actual facts of the series, right? Like it's so weird to me. Like let me go ahead and list what like all of the reasons why like they should just share a curse technique, right? Like they they should just share it, right? Like Sukuna never once summons a shadow that was destroyed by Megami throughout everything. Oh, here we go. Knight of Katarina, and Sukuna says his 10 shadows was destroyed when Maharaga died. Sukuna does not say his 10 shadows were destroyed. Sukuna says that he lost access to his 10 shadows. He lost the ability to use the 10 shadows. In no translation does it say the 10 shadows was destroyed. It's not implied Maharaga dying makes you unable to use the technique. It's most likely that Sukuna, again, Sukuna wasn't even Sukuna's technique. You know what I mean? Like again, Sukuna never summons a shadow that was destroyed by Megami. In fact, Sukuna takes Orochi that was destroyed earlier by Megami and uses it to make Nue totality. So like it's also proving that like he's taking the Shikigami that were already destroyed and turning them into totality versions of new Shikigami. Like you could argue that he's just combining them. Like we've seen Megami combine the frog and Nue before, which yeah, but like that's what Chimera Beast Agito was, or at least at the very like you know what I mean. Like definitely was a different thing. Like when Gege went back, said it was meant to be a Nue totality. That's why the Nue was insanely much larger. Everyone theorized that Sukuna just had a stronger cursed energy output, and that's why his Nue is stronger than Megami's. But actually, the Nue was a stronger version because the Nue was a Nue totality. It wasn't just regular Nue. So Bigege also confirms that in the Volume 24 extras, went back and fixed the panel to show that it had a Rochi symbol to make it the totality. You also have, like, when Suguna was using Maharaga to fight Gojo, like, Suguna outright verbatim states on chapter 234, page 11, you're no longer Megami Shadow, you're mine. Sorry I missed the last stream. It's all good. We're getting your homie into Kagurabachi. We love that. Could Miguel post JJK0 beat Jogo if he was present during the Shibuya incident? Miguel beating Jogo is tough. like Miguel is definitely a really really good sorcerer. I just think Jogo is like insanely OP because of his fire, right? Like unless you are someone that is like Jogo being 8 to 9 Sukuna fingers, like there's not many people that are fighting Jogo. Like even if you were to take, which is I know this is going to be controversial, even if you take end of series Yuji versus Jogo, that wouldn't be an easy fight. I'd probably think Yuji would still win, most likely, but that would not be an easy fight by any means. Jogo was one of, if not the strongest disaster curse, potentially even rivaling and potentially, like Jogo versus Mahito is also a really good matchup. Jogo flies around and shit, literally. If Maharaga was the key to the 10 shadows, it makes no sense why they would be able to use the curse technique without owning him. Like a lot of people like a lot of people harp on the idea that like a lot of people really 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 harp on the idea that Maharaga I lost access to the 10 shadows when Maharaga was destroyed. But for me, like, again, I just think there's so many different things that are put in the story that prove they use the same shadows for me to take that statement and be like, well, obviously he means obviously him saying that he can't use the 10 shadows once Maharaga died is definitely because they shared two entirely different, shadows, which I wouldn't put that together whatsoever. What I would put together is Suguna probably lost access to the curse technique that wasn't his to begin with. Remember, he is basically possessing Megami's body and using his curse technique against his will. Suguna, after losing Maharaga and getting hit by Infinite Hollow, was not able to use reverse curse technique, at least for a time being. He wasn't able to use domain expansion, and his own direct primary curse technique was also severely low in output. So it just really doesn't, surprise me that Sukuna wouldn't be able to use the 10 shadows either, especially when he changed his form and is now a curse taking full form. So like I just don't, you know what I mean? I just don't see how like the one this is Megumi's shadow when it's like it's just him saying that Megumi was using the technique, not him. I didn't know you were streaming. Hey, yeah, I don't know why YouTube sends out notifications and sometimes it doesn't. Hit the like button if you can. That's honestly the only way to let YouTube know that it's supposed to send the stream out. YouTube just does that sometimes where it just does not send anything out. Did Megumi already have the tiger, the deer, and the bull before Sukuna used them against Yorozu? I have to imagine that he did. Like, the idea that Sukuna went and tamed the other Shikigami off screen is just kind of I mean, like, sure, you could say that. Sure, I think you can. There's no definition either or where piercing ox and round deer came from. But honestly, I think it just makes more sense that Megumi always had them and he just never used them because again, if you think about it, Megumi leveled up a lot since the Origin of Obedience arc. It wouldn't, and he also just recently tamed Max Elephant right before the exchange event. It was stated Megumi tamed all the shadows apart from Maharaga. Boom, there you go, right there. There you go, boom, boom, boom. Given even 15 fingers, Sukuna's power, he probably just summoned all the untamed Shikigami at once and insta-killed them. Even that, like, is more believable. But, like, again, like, I just don't think... I would think that they were just already tamed. Megumi died to a great figure. Do people actually believe that? I keep seeing people say that, and I'm starting to think people actually really believe that that actually happened in Modulo. Right? Is anyone else kind of getting this worrisome feeling that like that started off as a meme, but like people like aren't reading Modulo and they're just seeing memes and people actually think Megumi died to a great, like they think that's our real thing. You might be joking. I'm not saying you believe that, but I'm starting to actually think that I see people say it so much. I think people actually think that that was a real panel in the chapter. I refuse to believe people really think that. Two fruit flies. I honestly, I have my belief broken so many times just by reading my YouTube Shorts comments. Okay, but Sukuna says my 10 shadows and this must be Megumi's differentiating them. Otherwise, he would have said, like, I can't use it anymore. But that's what he says, Knights of Catatonia. That's legitimately what he says, right? Like, Sukuna says, I lost access to the 10 shadows technique after I lost Maharaga. That means this must be Megumi's shadow. First of all, Bottomless Well has nothing to do with any of the Shikigami. So again, I don't know why Megumi using Bottomless Well is like, Megumi has his own version of the shadows. Two, again, this is very clearly Sukuna saying, I don't have access to the 10 shadows, which means Megumi is doing this. It's stated by Gege they don't share. Where was it stated by? Where was it stated, Steve? I would love to see where it was stated, because that statement doesn't exist. Statement doesn't exist at all. I promise you. I would bet money. I would bet money that Gege has never said that. Megumi would have been able to actually utilize Maharaga at any time after Shibuya because of Sukuna subjugating him. I'm not in... So it is unclear where Maharaga stood as in it getting tamed, whether it was tamed technically by Sukuna because even though he made the exorcism ritual null and void, he was technically the person that killed it, so he could have stepped in after possessing Megumi. That is definitely unclear. That's not what I'm here arguing, that... we don't know how Maharaga was either tamed or if it was just regularly tamed, but at the end of the day, again, there are other statements, like, for example, when Maharaga slashes Gojo's arm off, Sukuna says, Maharaga, you aren't Megumi's shadow anymore. Anymore, quote unquote, anymore, right? Like, you are no longer Megumi's shadow, you are mine. He says that. He says that 110%. Megumi's EOS is still OP after Sukuna being in his body for a month. Which shadow does he still have? Oh, I completely agree. The thing that's crazy is I made a video. If you check out my main channel, I made a video talking about how strong the sequel characters could have been. And I gave Megami stronger physical capabilities and stronger cursed energy output because he had Sukuna within him for so long. And people were slandering me in that video saying I was glazing Megami and, oh, you're not glazing potential, man, just because he had Sukuna in him. There's no proof whatsoever that Sukuna would give Megami power. There's no proof whatsoever that Sukuna would do anything for Megami. Stop trying to glaze Megami. Stop trying to make Megami seem like he's strong or anything. And I'm like, dog, what do you mean? The same people that are talking shit about me, like, like giving Megami, like visualizing how strong Megami could be, are the same people that are arguing with me that Yuji is now Gojo level and Yuji with blood fucking manipulation. Every time someone tells me Yuji's got blood manipulation, he's obviously special grade. Yuji's got blood manipulation. I just like I can't look at these people the same. Like I think that like you have to be lying. There's no way you think that. There's no way we dogged on blood manipulation for like years, right? Blood manipulation has and always will be one of the worst curse techniques in the entire series. Like, what are we talking about? Even Choso, with his unlimited, like basically unlimited supply of blood, is heavily outclassed the moment he fights someone like Naoya. Like, sure, did they basically tie and did Choso get one over on Naoya? Yeah. Do you think Naoya would ever let that happen again? No, absolutely not. Like the fact that Choso's like draw game was Naoya tells you everything you need to know about where blood manipulation, even at its peak, stands in the grand scheme of like the Jujutsu Kaisen narrative. I every time someone's like, Yuji's got two curse techniques, why do we act like blood manipulation is anything valuable whatsoever? Choso's low-key a filler character, zero screen time and all the glaze. Listen, I love Choso. Choso's an awesome character. He's definitely a very strong character when it comes to grade 1 sorcerer-wise. I'm not, downplaying Choso. I love Choso. But in Shinjuku Showdown, what more does Choso offer besides like Choso and Ino are like the relegated like side cast in that fight. You know what I mean? Now that you mention it, I think Sukuna meant that to say in a this isn't your body, it's mine kind of way. Like he stole his body and technique, and since Megami couldn't retake control of it, neither were his any longer. Yeah, like I completely agree with that. What my main point in bringing up that quote is to necessarily confirm that Sukuna is acknowledging that this Maharaga right here that he's talking to was originally Megami's, and now he's saying, "Hey, dickhead, I'm your master now. Start acting like you serve me." Boom. Can we talk about how the shadows also merge when they die? So wouldn't Megami technically have an OP shadow? Yes. I think it's kind of up in the air if Sukuna and Megami had different shadows with translations and Gege's lack of explanation. No, it's not. It's not up in the air. I promise you. Every single translation makes it very, very clear. Because you want to know what? Something that I did also bring up that I thought was very important. Like, don't you think if this was the case, like Gege would have mentioned that, and it must have and would have said that. Like Gege gave us an explanation, and for all the people that are like, oh, Gege didn't even explain Yuji's domain expansion. Sukuna started using the 10 shadows from chapter what, 213, 214, right? Gege had plenty of time to explain to us. Had plenty of time to explain to us how he used partial summoning. He had plenty of time to explain to us how he used the Max Elephant water spout without summoning the Shikigami. He had plenty of time to give us a whole monologue about how Maharaga needed to adapt and slash. He had a whole monologue on how he built the world-cutting slash, but Gege just didn't tell us that, oh, Sukuna and Megami's 10 shadows are actually two entirely different pools. But what he did do is he went back to chapter 2, but what he did do is go back to volume 24 and specifically alter the story to further provide evidence that Sukuna was using the same pool of shadows. My question is, why was Yuji's shrine different if he had Sukuna in his body as well? That's an entirely different concept, because Yuji envisions the idea of shrine completely different. Like, Sukuna engraving Yuji with his curse technique, and that curse technique awakening as its own thing, is completely different than Sukuna stealing Megumi's body and then using the pre-existing curse technique that is in that body. Like, I just don't understand. Like, why you guys believe this. Because, like, if like this person brings up, oh, read chapter 266, whatever. That is the he lost access quote. Why? Like, do you see what I mean here? Like, everyone that's like actually following like the stream, right? Like, do you see, like, you're at this point, you're in a Mr. Thinker, like, exactly, like, you see what I mean? Like, here I am bringing up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different reasons that prove they have completely different things, right? And you just have the one sentence that doesn't even say what you think it says. The whole issue with your point is that Agito has Orochi in it, which Sukuna destroyed Megumi's one, and we know that fused shadows like bottomless well, and Agito cannot be made if it's incomplete. Blotox. Orochi, you also have to remember that the 10 Shadows uses the remnants of the dead Shikigami to make the new one stronger. So Nue was turned into Nue Totality when Sukuna first summoned it in chapter 213, 214. This is not only fixed in the volume 24 edition, where Gege adds Orochi's symbol to Nue to show that it's a totality. He also says in the extras that he is doing that to make Nue the totality. Orochi would already have to be dead to make it a totality, right? Like, it would already have to be dead. The Chimera Beast is Sukuna forming everything together. Like, if he takes Nue that has parts of Orochi inside of it into Agito, obviously Agito is going to have parts of Nue, because Nue was fused into... I'm sorry, because Orochi was fused into Nue. That, like, makes complete sense. That's why Megumi could make Divine Dog Totality, even if the Shadow's destroyed. Exactly, 110%, Slendy Boy. Like, that's what it is. What does it say? So we're on the same page, because I don't know if you know what it says. The chapter 266 is, I know exactly what you're referencing. It is Sukuna literally saying, oh, I lost access to the 10 Shadows after Maharaga was destroyed. This must be Megumi Shadow. And again, I don't know if I need to, like, go to, like, the Oxford Dictionary, Webster's Dictionary, whatever dictionary you prefer, and read to you the definition of access. Actually, let's go ahead and let's do that right now. Access definition. A means of approaching or entering a place. An attack or outburst of an emotion. Approach or enter. Obtain, examine, or retrieve. What does any of that have to... Sukuna quite literally says, I lost my ability to access, to enter the 10 Shadows, to retrieve the 10 Shadows, to use the 10 Shadows, to connect with the 10 Shadows. He does not say, I've lost the 10 Shadows and they are destroyed. That's not what he said. That, like, we can read the panels. Like, it's like you can't lie when the panels and the words are on the page. You can say that, oh, you know, it's a different translation. We can read the other translation. That's not what the other translation says. Everyone's like, oh, you're reading John Weary. No, I'm not reading John Weary. That it doesn't matter. What do you think about Gege's statement of Yuji and Gojo being the same level of legend in JJ? They are not the same level, like, of power, but, you know, I think, like, it makes sense that Yuji might be as famous as Gojo, especially what the final chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen shows us, right? That Yuji was carrying on Gojo's will by, like, you know, after he arrests the curse user, he's like, hey, you know, I'm expecting great things from you. Come back and be a sorcerer for us later. Like, that is, like... Yuji definitely was the new Gojo in that sense of, like, being the, you know, the like, the, what do they call it in Naruto? The will of fire. He inherited the will of fire, like, you know. Slendy Boy says that was purely to say Megumi had taken control over his curse technique again, and Sukuna could no longer access it. Yes, 110%. That's exactly what it's saying. And again, literally again, the thing is like that statement is like all you have, right? Like that's all you have to go off of. Like again, there are other pieces of the story that also disprove that. So like when you're like, oh, read 266 page 11 or whatever. Come on. Like, come on. We all universally hate John Weary. He's probably a nice guy, but he's a shit translator. He's got to go. Oh yeah, terrible. Does Megumi need Maharaga Tame to be an equal to Gojo, or does he just need the domain and master the Shikigami to theoretically equal him? I mean, we literally saw basically what like a peak 10 Shadows user would look like when we saw Gojo versus Sukuna, right? So I think it's very clear that yes, the 10 Shadows user could definitely rival Gojo, but excuse me, it also takes much more than that. Like I also said this as well. When people were like glazing Yuji because he has Sukuna's curse technique. Like just because he has Sukuna's curse technique does not make him Sukuna level. I mean, it's the same thing like that was proven. Gojo doesn't need the Limitless to be the strongest sorcerer of his era. Even if you took the Limitless away from Gojo, he's still mollywhopping the entire verse without a doubt. You know what I mean? Like he is the strongest sorcerer because he can use simple domain multiple times after one another. Everyone is shocked that he can do that. He has one of the strongest punches, the strongest punch in the entire series, to the point that one punch is enough to make Yuta and Hikari puke, like vomit and hurl. Like even without Limitless, Gojo is OP. Sure, that strong punch comes from Limitless, but again, with his cursed energy output, all this stuff, he's strong. Weren't his exact words are my 10 Shadows stopped functioning after Maharaga was destroyed? So, yes. So, stopped functioning even works better for me, right? Because stopped functioning literally says that, oh, my 10 Shadows stopped working. It's not his curse technique. Obviously, he's saying that he is not able to use it, so he's surprised that Megumi is. It's like everything that gets read, it's like, what do you mean? His 10 Shadows is based on resources he can use at once. He was able to manifest Maharaga in one totality. That's Sukuna's max based on what he said. It said as if Sukuna was pushing it just by summoning two. Yeah, the same guy who was able to react to 20 finger domain amp Sukuna while his technique was in burnout. People don't understand how strong Gojo is to be comparing him. Literally. Like the Yuji Gojo glaze is also insane to me. Like it's too much. It's too much, man. I don't know where people get it from. It's all an attempt of headcanoning, you know. I still believe Yuki has stronger punches than Gojo. I mean, I think this debate stems from worry that Megumi got weaker because people think he lost a technique. It's exactly where it comes from. That's 100% exactly where it comes from because people don't want Megumi to be nerfed at the end of the series. They don't want that. They are very, very upset if that is the case, right? They don't want that whatsoever. So what do they have to do? They have to literally argue. So it means they have separate tech. Exactly. Like this is what I mean. Like you can see people like Mr. Thinker, right? Like he has his one little sentence. I have my 6 other pieces of evidence, and like he just keeps repeating himself over and over. And then when repeating yourself over and over doesn't work, it's whatever, you're wrong, I'm right, and they dip out because that's not how real mature people have an argument, right? Like real mature people, they offer back and forths. You know, they have like, okay, I see your point. Here's my rebuttal to this point. And again, like, boom. It's really that simple. Like if I personally feel like if there's nothing to say, you want me to debate you? I mean, you just tried to, right? You just tried to debate me. And you literally just repeated yourself over and over and over again. And then when I had multiple things to say, you just got upset and wanted to leave. So like, I mean, like there's not really a debate here. You know, you're just going to continually say the same thing over and over again. You already did it. There's what more of there isn't of what more of the argument is there. Are you saying Megumi lost to 10 shadows? No, what I'm saying is Megumi doesn't have as many shadows. Megumi has lost most of the shadows in his arsenal. Also, not for nothing, I think something that was really, really funny to me too is like if Megumi had Nue, why didn't he use it in the last chapter of the series when literally they would have benefited from Nue directly 100%? They needed to scout like 100 meters of a high, tall building and find the curse user. And the literal perfect Shikigami for that would be Nue. But for some reason, Megumi said, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wait for Yuji and Nobara to draw him out themselves. They're going to grind down a fucking building like it's the Matrix. And they're going to handle the aerial combat when I have a Shikigami with fucking wings. And that's what I called it. I knew the argument would just be, oh well, Megumi's just dumb. What can I even say to that? You know, why was Sukuna capable of summoning 2 of the dogs instead of only the totality? Sukuna was capable of summoning like 6 dogs. If you look at the actual page, right? Like Sukuna was able to partially summon the dogs to the shadows, so that way he was able to just completely manipulate the shadows. Like if you look at that exact page that you're referencing, the bottom panel is Sukuna summoning like 4 to 6 dogs at the exact same time. So I don't think it's that Sukuna has 2 divine dogs. It's that Sukuna, through partial summoning, is just able to shapeshift his shadows into the dog's image, which is explained to us completely. Not only does that keep the Shikigami safe because he's not actually completely summoning them, and if they get destroyed, it's just the shadow getting destroyed. And from there, he can change the shape of the shadow that he's summoning completely. Like, if there wasn't that other panel of him using like 6 of them, I would say that's actually a really good point. And you know what? Him having those 2 divine dogs there does kind of hurt my argument. But the fact that right after that page, you see the him summoning like 6 of them and they're all going after Yorozu, I'm just going to have to imagine that's just part of the partial summoning. Zachary Wilson, thank you for the 5. I'd say that if the text reads, depending on the translation of Sukuna saying my 10 shadow doesn't work, would imply that it was Sukuna's and not Megumi. Well, so like I said, it's that whole sentence, again, even if I was to award you the sentence, there are still multiple things in the story beforehand that further prove that they are the same. Again, Sukuna not using a single Shikigami, like Sukuna could have summoned Orochi, right? But Orochi is gone. Orochi doesn't exist. Sukuna took Orochi that was already dead and used it in his very first summoning of Shikigami. It's said that, well, that's what it is, boy. Like it is never said they're not the same. So I don't know. So that's where a lot of the confusion comes from, because you're another person that has come in here and say, you know, the manga Origege has said that they're different. And one of the funniest things that I find about that is there is literally no instance of that being said once in the entire series. It's never said once. It's like if there was, I literally wouldn't even be having this argument. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's also part of the issue too, is like people just like they attach themselves so much to these characters that, like, me saying that Megumi maybe has less shadows than normal, as we kind of hinted at earlier, is, oh well, Megumi can't have less shadows, he has to be strong, when it's like Megumi can still be strong without the shadows that he lost. You know what I mean? He doesn't. It's okay. Just like people that will, you know, die on the hill that Yuji is able to surpass Gojo, which, again, what the fuck? Why would we ever think that? It's like, we don't need Yuji to be number 1 character. The people that get upset that the main character isn't the number 1 strongest character in the series, I get so many comments in my shorts that are like, oh, it's stupid if the main character didn't surpass Gojo. That's one of the dumbest story elements I've heard of. Why? Why is it stupid? Why does the main character need to be number 1? He doesn't. It's not necessary. whatsoever. It's just like I just it's like I just feel like it's like an insecurity almost in like a fictional character for some reason. Like if Yuji isn't top one, then I can't say he's my favorite character because that would mean that he would lose to someone else's favorite character, and that's gonna make me very upset. When it's like, who cares? It's your favorite character is your favorite character. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who beats them in power scaling. You don't need to make shit up just to make them stronger than what they are. You know. Do I think Megami could merge Maharaga with other shadows? Yeah, I mean potentially that would make sense if he's able to create a Maharaga totality, or technically speaking, he could merge Maharaga into another totality. I made a video on how strong the sequel characters could be, and I gave Megami the ability to like use binding vows to like merge and unmerge the Shikigami, have a domain expansion in Chimera Shadow Garden that can literally birth new Shikigami that he can use. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more than willing to glaze these characters under the sun, but we also need to understand that it's headcanon at the same time when we're glazing them. It's not part of the series. We can glaze them in our head and imagine how strong they could be if they could do this and they could do that, but that's not what the story says. The story quite literally makes sense, you know? The only say my part is the issue for me is due to implying ownership of his own 10 shadows might not mean anything but translations cause wars. But like I don't even really think it's like an issue with the translation. Um like you know what I mean? Like it's mostly what it is Sukuna was utilizing Megami's curse technique. Thank you so much for the love and support, China Doll. I appreciate the 5 gifted members. Thank you so much. Um, Sukuna was using Megami's curse technique. He was possessing Megami's body and making use of his curse technique against his will. Why is it harder to believe that Sukuna just wasn't able to use the technique that wasn't his own anymore than it is like I just feel like giving him his own pool of shadows is like stretching so much for no reason, right? Like I just feel like it's Occam's razor. Wow, I lost access to the 10 shadows. I my 10 shadows stopped functioning. So this shadow must be Megami. If again, if Megami summoned like a shadow that was destroyed, I would concede and I wouldn't even be doing this stream. You know, if Megami summoned a shadow that was destroyed, then we wouldn't even be here today. If because like the thing is like Megami used bottomless well. You know what I mean? Like bottomless well has nothing to do with any of the 10 Shikigami. Like, so all Suguna is saying, he goes, well, this isn't me using the shadows technique. This must be Megami using the shadow technique. It says that all Shikigami attain the abilities of the dead ones. No, not all of them. Only, you know, you can take one of the dead Shikigami and merge them into another one. And that's how he got Divine Dog totality. That's also how he got New A totality. Would it be unreasonable to think Megami could awaken Shrine like Yuji did? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that. I'm a little less likely to think that just because, you know, like it's not only was Sugan and I mean, I guess they were in for a similar amount of time. I don't know. I guess you could say that maybe, but maybe you could also make the argument Yuji didn't have a curse technique, so it kind of like it was engraved on Yuji because he was a blank slate. That's unclear. Like that, I'm willing to say is up in the air. You know. That's completely fine. What up, Aria? What up, Yontavia? How we doing? Like, it's just, you know, I would be more than willing to say when things are unclear, I will admit when they're unclear. But I feel like this is kind of cut and dry. Like, again, like, so this would leave Megami with Rabbit Escape, Gamma the Toad, Divine Dogs, Piercing Ox, and Max Elephant. And he has one more, right? I think I'm missing one. And he has one more, right? Or that's it. That's it, I think, actually. I think there might be one more. I might be forgetting one. No, Round Deer was a part of Agito, so technically, it's actually that's so. I think everything. I'm pretty sure everything in Agito was destroyed and gone forever. Round Deer was used in Agito, so and I'm pretty sure everything in Agito was destroyed. How was Maharaga in Shinjuku and Shibuya? I'm not sure what that. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Kenjaku had multiple curse techniques. Megami would likely have the same effect. No, it's possible. Again, that's just I just don't know. But I mean, just to what you are saying, like specifically, like one of the big things also in regards to this as well is like Suguna is possessing Megami's body, right? So it's not a situation like Yuji where Sukuna's soul being inside of Yuji left a remnant of his curse technique where a new curse technique awoke inside of Yuji. It was the same technique, but it was his own ability. This is completely different because Sukuna is literally just making use of the existing imprint on Megami's brain. It's not like Sukuna grew a new brain inside of Megami's body. He is quite literally using what is pre existing and possessing it. There's never two different Ten Shadows techniques. It's only Megami's technique that Suguna is making use of. Unknown siphon. Oh, I can't keep doing it. I can't keep repeating myself. It's the same sentence over and over. I'm sorry, it's not you. It's the same thing. I lost access to my shadows. This must be Megami's. It I just don't understand how that was the tipping point. I don't understand how such a it's like I don't even understand how you could interpret that way. Especially with everything else being there. I'm sorry, dude. You're fine, unknown siphon. Again, it's not you. You're completely fine. We've been streaming for 47 minutes, and it's just like I've responded to that acclaim multiple times already. So it's not you. I'm not mad at you. I promise. It's not you. Please don't feel bad. Please don't be upset. I'm not coming at you. I am coming at the situation that Jujutsu Kaisen is just so fucked when it comes to misinformation. But I promise you, it's not you. I'm not coming at you. I just can't believe how stuff like this happens. Do you think Yuji's mastered Black Flash fully to willingly do it by modulo? And if so, no, I don't think anyone will ever be able to use Black Flash on command, not even Yuji. I always like to believe since Kenjaku was the second best barrier user, he probably had ways of saving old brain pieces and switching between them. That's actually a really cool idea. Um, could Megami make a Shadows use shrine if he had it engraved in him? I don't know. I think they forgot that one Megami summoned him in Shibuya Natsukuna, and when you do the ritual for Ishigami and you fail but live for whatever reason, you can keep summoning them. Yes, that's a good point, Slendy Boy, as well. Yes, that's I guess that good point. I wasn't picking up what the question was, but that makes sense. Yeah, so the ritual was null and void when Sukuna destroyed Maharaga back in Shibuya. So um that was the whole point. That's why Megami was actually kept in like a state of near death, right? And like why Suguna was able to reverse curse technique him because technically speaking, the ritual hadn't ended yet. Megami's death wasn't official until Haruta also died. So that's why Suguna was able to heal Megami, bring him back to life, quote unquote, technically, and then end the ritual and make it null and void by being the one that stepped in. The audio's tweaking again. I hate when this happens, man. This happened again. Is the audio still tweaking? Little lag on the audio. Well, and that's better than what was happening last time. Who's your favorite Sonic character out of Sonic or Shadow? Shadow the Hedgehog all day, every day. Strolled and slowed back, then it was fixed. Got you. What up, Atlas? Do you think future Megami and the peak he could reach could be stronger than a future Yuji? No, I definitely think by the end of the series, with I think Megami and Yuji are pretty neck and neck if we give Megami like his peak ability. Like I'm going based off of my sequel like ideas that I have for him. Like is Hollow Purple look you look just like my brother-in-law? Maybe I am. Ha ha ha. No, I'm his evil twin. Is Hollow Purple an existence erasure technique or not? It is not an erasure existence erasure technique. I do not believe so at all. Again, I think there's multiple things in the story that prove to us it's not existence erasure, considering not a single person has ever had their existence erased by Hollow Purple. It's just a big giant cursed energy buzzsaw. And you can actually refer to the Japanese community, and they will tell you that's what it is. It's not like that's a misinterpretation. That's oh no op is just reading comprehension again. How is he confusing this? The kanji for Hollow Purple, the quote unquote imaginary technique is a mistranslation. The in the Viz media, the imaginary is actually meant to be virtual. So how Yuki's ability, right, creates virtual mass. She's able to just imbue herself with insane virtual mass and hit strong with that virtual mass, as much virtual mass as she implies. What Hollow Purple is, using that exact same kanji as Yuki's virtual mass, that would mean that it's not imaginary mass that Gojo is creating with the red and blue, which would be existence erasure because it's anti-matter, blah, 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 all that science shit. It is quite literally virtual mass, which is exactly what Yuki is doing. However, instead of Yuki, who is imbuing her, physical strikes with that virtual mass, Gojo quite literally conjures the virtual mass in reality and then fires it. And that virtual mass pushes and pulls you in so many different ways that it basically just fucking rips through you. Similar to it might as well be existence erasure because it's causing it's just ripping right through you and just it's all whatever goes through whatever it touches is usually gone. But that's not because of existence erasure. That's just because of the massive fucking attack power. What up, OP? I'm convinced Sukuna's 10 Shadows is Megumi because we don't see him use the Toad Shikigami, nor do we see him use Divine Dog White because Divine Dog White is dead. Frisk and Abyss. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Toji being able to be brought back and at all burst the Hollow Purple's existence erasure. I never even really thought about that, but I guess you could kind of think about it that way too. Technically speaking, yeah, if it's existence erasure. But I guess I could see someone just argue that as its physical matter erasure, not like existence, like Toji was wiped off and he's forever forgotten about, right? So I could see someone still arguing about that, but I do think that's kind of a funny point. Do you think Gojo would make a good Jedi? Uh, no. I think Gojo would make a very good gray Jedi. Oh no. My audio might get cooked. Oh no. Is the audio cooked? Because like I'm really worried because I got a phone call and that fucked the audio last time. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, cool. Imagine if Yuta had took the granny's corpse so we could copy your technique. Good lord, Yuta in Shibuya would have changed the story significantly. Like that's just one of the reasons there entirely. Can Hollow Purple go through infinity, or was that a misconception? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, Gojo got hit by his own technique, but this could just be because Limitless was down at the time. It's unclear, honestly. But yeah, I mean, oof. What an absolutely crazy freaking thing. Like It it really does surprise me every single time that I run into situations like this where it just like I really have to imagine that a lot of people just have just read through TikTok. And this will be my last soapbox, and then I'll call the stream my very last soapbox. And what that last soapbox will be is, leaks did not ruin Jujutsu Kaisen. Leaks haven't ruined any series. One Piece, as a world building lore house, thrives through its leaks. You want to know why Jujutsu Kaisen failed? Jujutsu Kaisen failed because no one read the official release after they read the leaks, and that's the problem. That is the issue. And I had something that happened recently where, on my second channel, we do talk about leaks. We do talk about Jujutsu Kaisen modulo leaks. And I got a comment that was like, oh, a couple of people are wrong speaking. The dialogue is correct, but you got a couple of people wrong speaking, which in spoilers, in early translations and raws and stuff like that, that can happen. It can happen, and it's normal in spoilers for that to happen. That's why after you look at the spoilers aren't meant to be a substitute for the chapter. They never were, they never are. And I think the problem is people started to use them like they are. People would just go through the leaks and then never touch the actually translated chapter, and that's the problem. Is because yeah, sometimes spoilers might be a little off, sometimes they're perfectly right, but sometimes they might be a little off, and that little off can just ruin everything. Because sheesh, 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 sheesh. To be fair, the JJK fan base did go through the pandemic and such while One Piece was already established. I would think that the JJK fan base, because they had the pandemic, they should be more locked in. Damn it. You had more time to focus and immerse yourself and look up all the lore. There's no excuse. Didn't help that JJK's official translations were subpar as well. Yeah, no, completely right. John Wary also cooked the fucking series. I still get comments all the time telling me that Gojo is actually the worst person at hitting Black Flash when the whole point was to say that Gojo is actually one of the best. It's actually the complete opposite, and John Weary completely fucking ruined that. On top of like, you also have the anime translation that is fucking awful and fucking terrible. I have people that quote the anime to me, and even the anime is wrong because you can remember. And people are like, "Oh, what, you're gonna go against the official anime dub? Haha, you're so stupid. You don't make the story, bro." I'm sorry. You mean the anime dub that had Toji say that he named his curse spirit after Megami and not his son? The exact same English dub that had Toji completely what he says in that moment completely wrong. Um, huh? Because it's just so reliable. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying that you should just never trust the official release. The official translation is almost always probably going to be right a good 95, 99% of the time. But to act like there's that 1% that doesn't happen where they do fuck up, like, it's like, come on. Like, yeah, really. Like, if you watch that episode weekly after Toji, murks Ghetto and has the whole moment where he's like, oh, that's right. That's why I named him Megami. In the original English dub, he literally is like, oh, that's why I named my curse spirit Megami. And it's like, how could you possibly get this wrong? Not only, how many people did this go through that supposedly are working on the series and have worked on the series for a while and know the series and are professionally making the series, and no one realized that that was wrong? No one realized that not even was it like a wrong mistranslation that like, oh shit, the voice actor's like, guys, they gave me the wrong translation. I just read what's on screen. What it was said doesn't even make sense in the grand scheme of things. What was said doesn't even make sense. I named my cursed spirit Megami. What do you mean? You named your cursed spirit Megami? You named your son Megami? Huh? So it's like, yeah, it's like it's constantly hearing people that are like, you're not the author of the series. Like, the author literally came out here and said this, and you're just denying it and crying. And it's like, no, 9 times out of 10, the author has not fucking said that. You guys literally saw in this stream, people come in here and tell me that Gege or the manga said things that were never said. And they said, LOL, this was confirmed. Why are you even debating this? This was never confirmed. Ever. And it's like, and like you can see it with like the like everything. Lightning was one of the trans. Thank God, Lightning was the one to translate. Lightning is a savior. Lightning is a huge savior. Lightning is the one that tried to clarify Hollow Purple being virtual mass and not imaginary. And and when I brought that up, people fucking clowned on me. And it's like, dude, you literally have someone that is that like literally is the one of the best Japanese translators in the community, and you're gonna tell me that they're wrong and they're glazing because they want to agenda push for goat. Anyone that starts throwing those, like, it's like, come on, dude. It's like, come on. Word of mouth spreads fast, and leaks can lead to a bad experience for everyone, especially if it comes from the wrong person saying the wrong thing. I mean, people will believe what they want to believe. That's also a very good point, Gray. That's also something that I've learned time and time again. People are just gonna fucking no, people are literally just gonna believe whatever they want. You don't do crossword scaling with calculation or anything, do you? I 100% do, Rude God. You can click on the channel. I have plenty of power scaling videos, crosswords. I got solo leveling versus Dragon Ball, Demon Slayer versus Jujutsu Kaisen, the inverse Jujutsu Kaisen versus Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man versus Demon Slayer, versus Jujutsu Kaisen. I got plenty of Jujutsu Kaisen versus Hunter x Hunter. Plenty of crossword scaling. I love crossword scaling sometimes, but that's also just as toxic and awful. And again, I truly think it completely comes to people just attaching themselves to these characters and getting upset. Like I said, a lot of people literally feel like they're like, this is my favorite character. I need them to be the absolute best. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of again, like the Megumi example where I was giving Megumi as strong as he'd be in the sequel, and like I was getting yelled at for giving Megumi you know benefits from having Sukuna inside of him. But at the same time, those same people were yelling at me because Yuji has Sukuna's curse technique, so Yuji should be Sukuna level. It doesn't make it make sense. You know what I mean? You clearly just don't like Megumi and you like Yuji. So giving Megumi clout is, why the fuck would you do that? You're glazing. LOL. You fucking get Megumi's dick out of your mouth. Compared to Yuji has two curse techniques and the domain. He's the strongest sorcerer ever. Stronger than Gojo. He beat it. We have direct confirmation. It's like it looks ridiculous. You never really state the numbers or reasoning why you believe stuff, like how strong is Freerun video. Didn't even tell me how strong she was. Well, like that's the difference. Is like that is just a Freerun video that I titled "How Strong is Freerun," and that's not my power scaling or anything like that. Like if I was to do a "How Strong is" video, like that's not my power scaling. But if you look at main channel videos, that when I do power scaling, I have calculations almost always posted right on screen. Again, Sung Jin Woo versus Dragon Ball. All the calculations are on screen. Not that it matters that I post the calculations on screen, because 9 times out of 10 people are just gonna say whatever they want anyway, and that's my overall point. And that's what I'm slowly learning. Like, you know what? I did that most recent video, Yuji versus all of the upper moons. I yapped the entire video, no script. Put the video together in like 3 days based off of the stream that we did where we worked everything out on stream. That video did just as well as the videos that I take 2 fucking months to script, research, and put all of the calculations on screen and put everything there for like a whole PowerPoint presentation to make sure all of my research, all of my evidence, all of my work is there, just for someone to comment and be like, LOL, you downplayed, you're glazing. Worst video I've ever seen in my entire life. So, like, I promise you, like, I will 110% do all of the calculations I'm not showing them anymore. I'm not wasting my time showing them because people don't care about them. I'll put them in. I'll say the things and I'll put them in there, but I'm very much like going much less effort if I ever do more power scaling stuff because it's not worth it. The people that care, 9 times out of 10 are already going to have all of the calculations that are going to know. But and 9 times out of 10, people aren't gonna care, and they're just gonna get upset because the favorite character that was in the video that I talked about didn't win, or I've even literally given characters stronger abilities than they have in their own series, and I still get told that I'm downplaying them when I'm using their highest bald estimations. I mean, it's the same people that just tell me that Tanjiro from Demon Slayer is a mountain level fighter. The human beings with no actual superpowers besides the special breathing talent are mountain level. Tanjiro can swing his sword and destroy a mountain. Be so fucking for real. Be so fucking for real. To answer some questions that I've gotten, and I'm sorry I'm missing them. Modulo is good. Read Modulo. Chapter 5 of Modulo was really good. Chapter 4, like this new arc that we're on right now for Modulo, peak content. Peak content. I've been Modulo. I think it's set up. I think it's set up to peak is back, baby. I feel so confident saying that. Everyone that you hear talking shit about Modulo is going to be reading that shit and acting like they loved it in 2 months, 1 month to 2 months. I'm telling you, save this live stream. And when I tell you, come back to it because I'll have receipts. I'm telling you, in 1 to 2 months, everyone will be acting like this was some of the best shit. All the people that are in the comment sections, all the people that are on Twitter, all the like, this is the worst series ever. Like, Gege ruined the main series doing all of this. They're going to be the same people. Pay attention to who they are. Pay attention to who they are. Pay attention to who they are because they're going to be the same people that are telling you that Modulo is really good. They want instant gratification. Yes, that's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. The people that they wanted chapter 1 of Modulo to be like a continuation of the hype of Shinjuku Showdown. And you know what? Honestly, it's fine. There's 5 chapters out right now, and I'm genuinely enjoying it. I think it's a fun series, especially with this little mini arc that we're on right now with the siblings versus the curse user. It's actually so JJK fueled. It's kind of insane, right? Like this new fight is what people have wanted from JJK for so long, and people are just ignoring it. Like it is genuinely so much fun. Like people are gonna be like, oh, you're glazing. I had someone comment the other day that was saying me like, obviously you have to talk good about it because this is your bread and butter. Acting like I wouldn't say I didn't like something because I make money off of it is fucking insane. No way. You see me doing streams like this, literally arguing with people in the community that supposedly pays my bills. And you're going to be like, this guy's just lying for views. When have you ever known me to do that? I promise you, if I hated Modulo, you would know. I would tell you. I would make a video about it. I made a video saying that it was actually pretty good. And people still clicked on that video that said it was good and said that I was dumb for not liking it and telling me that how are you not liking this series? There's only 3 chapters. LOL, what a clickbait video. This is the worst. I have to unsubscribe. You've fallen off, bro. The irony of commenting on a video you didn't watch and telling me that I didn't like a series in 3 chapters, you didn't even watch my video. You got full clickbaited and commented out of anger. That was the point of the video, dog. The point of the video was so people would be like, "Oh, dude, JJK Modulo's ass, I knew it," and then it's me literally saying why it's good. That's called content, baby. That's called YouTube. I do make Kagurabachi content for all the people that are asking. I don't put most of it on my main channel. If you go to my second channel, I cover Kagurabachi every week. You know, like I've done videos like Kagurabachi, like Chihiro versus the Disaster Curses. I've done videos like Samura versus Jujutsu Kaisen. They're all on my second channel, which actually, I should set something up here. But my second channel, no more operator, no operator at no operator two. You can click on my channel. It's live right on the channel. Click it. I cover Kagurabachi every week. I make plenty of Kagurabachi videos. I make plenty of Sakamoto Days, Don to Don, Gachi Akuta, Chainsaw Man stuff. I 110% make all content on as many of the weekly series as I can. You mentioned that you didn't like Kagurabachi at first in early chapters. I didn't. I didn't like Kagurabachi at first in the early chapters, and now it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite weekly reads. And the thing is sometimes things take time to build up. You know, sometimes not everything is perfect right off the bat. Like it is. You know, I didn't like JJK until I would say around the chapter 20s, chapter 30s, like when Yuji versus Mahito and Junpei was going on. Like I thought like Fearsome Womb arc was like fun and exciting, but like I kind of fell off after that and I didn't touch it until Mahito came in. And like then I was like, ooh, I fuck with this. You know what I mean? Like sometimes series take a while. I didn't like Kagurabachi until Rakuzachi arc. I thought Kagurabachi was like pretty fucking like not underwhelming. It was a good series and it had a good start, but it started just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it wasn't really progressing anywhere. And then the Rakuzachi arc opened the whole actual real world of Kagurabachi and the real story, and we progressed into the actual plot. And I've been loving it the entire time since. Sometimes series kind of need to like establish characters and establish the world with smaller stories until and then they bring the plot in. Like it's just it's just, yeah, we're in chapter 5. And honestly, again, chapter 4 and 5, the current curse user battle that Modulo is in right now is very fun. It's an exciting idea. It's unique. It's new for Jujutsu Kaisen. It fits fucking perfectly. And it's also a really fun and well choreographed fight. That it shows me that Akutami didn't forget his roots. Akutami knows how to still write a really good story. I knew that from Phantom Parade. Phantom Parade is also peak fiction, and not for nothing, I'm going to drop my Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade story explained videos very soon. For the people that were here for the Phantom Parade streams, you guys know how I feel about Phantom Parade's story. Phantom Parade is really good. Gege's character writing in Phantom Parade is really good, and it uses everything that exists in the Jujutsu Kaisen world really well. So again, like when I drop the Phantom Parade videos, like if you've never seen or know nothing about the mobile stories of Jujutsu Kaisen, they are so good. Actually, yeah, Coconut. Funnily enough, I reacted to the new opening for the Cursed Prison arc on Wednesday on member stream. We did it on a member stream. That's why I think you might not have been there. But yeah, we did it on Wednesday night. We watched the OP for the Phantom Parade Cursed Prison arc, and that looks really good too. Go like again. I'm gonna end stream soon because we're just kind of yapping. But I'm telling you, like, go right now if you have time. You're on YouTube right now. When the stream is over, go search Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade opening. Watch either the Cursed Prison opening or fucking watch even the original Phantom Parade opening. Like, it's really good. What's the general consensus on Rosetsu power-wise? Rosetsu is really fucking powerful. Rosetsu is a really good villain, in my opinion. I absolutely love Rosetsu, honestly. I think he works really well in Jujutsu Kaisen as a setting. I think Yuki Kaito and Saki Rindo are both really cool additions to the cast. And I was so hyped to see that they're going to be in the second season. Like seeing Saki and Yuki in the opening of Cursed Prison arc. Like I was really worried they weren't going to be in Cursed Prison arc. And when they fucking showed up, I was like, yes, my fucking characters. Like the fact that I am so happy to see my characters from a fucking mobile game. It's crazy to me. And that's that Gege Akutami fire, bro. People fucking act like Akutami can't write. I don't understand it. The ending of Jujutsu Kaisen was not bad. Jujutsu Kaisen's ending only was disappointing because Kenjaku died with all of his lore. Akutami made one mistake that impacted the story harder than he thought it would. But everything else is fine. Everything else is okay. Akutami is a great writer. Like, again, we got to start talking about. I said this literally the last vertical stream. We have to start talking about Akutami. Kanye is disgraced now. Kanye is unfortunately disgraced now. But we have to start talking about Akutami like people talked about Kanye when we were like, oh, like Kanye sucks, but he made Graduation. Like, you know what I mean? Akutami, might have fucked up Kenjaku, but he made Higuruma. He made Higuruma in one chapter. In one chapter, Higuruma was like one of the best characters in all of Jujutsu Kaisen. It took one chapter for him to accomplish that. Akutami is great at that. Akutami, I got a comment that to this day blows my mind that someone said to me. And they were complaining because of Jujutsu Kaisen modulo only having 30 chapters, even though there's no guarantee how many chapters it gets. We just know that it's going to be around volume 3. And they were saying, oh, like Akutami is awful. Like he doesn't understand. It actually takes more skill to write a short story. And actually, Akutami is proving that he can't write a short story because we're 10%. We are 10% into modulo, and he has just fumbled around and done nothing. This is the worst story ever. He doesn't know how to write a short story. And that blows my mind because Akutami might be one of the best people, or at least one of the best writers in current Shonen Jump that is great at writing short stories. He got everyone to love Higuruma in one chapter. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was so fucking good of a short story that they literally made him make a series when he didn't want to make it. He wanted to do a Pop Idol manga, and they said, no, you motherfucker, you're making the best battle shonen in the goddamn motherfucking world right now, Akutami. I'm like, people are gonna come in and they're gonna think I'm crazy. I'm just like this is all jokes. I'm not actually this like angry or mad, but like seriously, like it's like god damn, bro. Like Akutami has earned his sauce. We get the only people that act like Akutami didn't earn his sauce are people that came in Gojo vs Sukuna. They're only people that tuned in to Jujutsu Kaisen when Gojo vs Sukuna was big, and they know the hype of JJK at its peak. Do you know what I mean? And again, and that's also what it is, and that's also what people need to remember, right? Like people were for some reason expecting Modulo to pop off chapter 1 and have the exact same energy and hype as the final battle of Jujutsu Kaisen. I mean, you see it all the time when people are like, oh, JJK was just fights. It had no good characters. The only people that say that are the people that started reading for Shinjuku Showdown. There's no doubt in my mind because there's no way someone that has actually read all of Jujutsu Kaisen would say that. It just doesn't make sense to me. It is either completely disingenuous or you tuned in at the very end when literally it was just the fight. And you're like, oh, JJK was just one long fight. No, it wasn't. So like, yeah, it's overall, it blows my mind. It shows again, it's absolutely biased beyond belief. I still think a lack of world building and story of life is criticism, but that can be applied to 90% of shonen. Yeah, Gege, like the very fast paced nature of modern day shonen, I definitely think is an issue. That's why I love characters like characters. I love stories like Gachi Akuta. No, I don't think. I just to answer your question, Rugad. Yeah, I think Naraku and Sesshomaru beat Jujutsu Kaisen characters. Aren't like Inuyasha characters like planet level? I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure Inuyasha characters are like literally planet level. But yeah, like a lot of modern era shonen are very fucking like fast paced and they kind of blitz through everything. Gachi Akuta is really good because Gachi Akuta lets its plot breathe, lets its characters breathe, and lets everything take its time. Um, not many manga do that right now. But again, that is really just an issue with the fear of getting axed, right? Like the fear of, not providing a hype enough reading experience that you're going to get axed. Think about it. The same people that complain that JJK was all fights and, Jujutsu Kaisen has no world building and has no good character moments are one, the exact same people that you see shitting all over Modulo right now because they're saying, oh, where are the aliens? There's nothing going on. This is boring. This is just fucking boring. This is sloppy mid shonen. This is literally everything. When Gege's trying to build a whole new spin off series and world with characters. And two, they're the exact same people that freaked out and got so mad and protested every week during Kenjaku and Takaba. The exact same people that were like, what the fuck is this? This is too slow. This isn't my Jujutsu Kaisen. Gege needs to get back to the action right now. Aren't you the people that wanted Gege to spend more time on character interactions? But every time Gege did a slow chapter, it was the end of the fucking world, and this chapter was mid. Nothing happened. Oh my god. I can't believe I read it this week. Gege dropped his pen. It's like, ugh. It's like a double-edged sword, right? You know what I mean? Jujutsu Kaisen is absolutely great peak fiction until the one thing happened that I didn't like, and now this is the worst garbage I've ever read in my entire life. Module equals Babutsu Baizen, Buji next generation. The craziest thing is like the Boruto comparisons at this point into chapter 5 don't even hold up. They really don't because like it's completely the aliens aren't even like we're still dealing with like curse users and like regular, we dealt with a tiger in chapter 3, right? Like the aliens are probably one of the least important aspects of Modulo right now. So yeah, I think now that we even have 5 chapters or so, I think Modulo is slowly starting to set itself apart. And like I said, right now people are not buying into Modulo. The first chapter came out and everyone was like, oh my god, Boruto. Everyone clowned on it. Most people tuned out and they've been like, we have a lot of people in here that are really good people that are saying they're waiting for Modulo to build up because they don't want to, read it every week and be disappointed and just not get what they want out of it. They want to build everything up. Which I completely understand that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, like I'm telling you, you're going to see in like a month or two, again, quote me, you're going to see in a month or two, people are going to love Modulo and people are going to act like they always loved it and it was always peak. The moment that we get, not just because the arc right now is pretty decent. The moment we get like a really good, like we get like a Demon Slayer episode 19, like Tanjiro versus Rui, like moment in the manga, you already know it's over. You already know everyone's going to flock to it. Everyone's going to read this shit and they're going to go back to the weekly experience. What Modulo does better than Boruto is that we see the efforts of our main cast and JJK actually had a major impact on Jujutsu Society. Music, I love you. I'm happy to see you again. I missed you. It's so funny you say that, and this will be the last thing I say because I'm closing out the stream because I gotta walk my doggos. It's so funny you say that because I recently dropped chapter 5 review, right? And so many people in my comment section are saying the exact opposite. And that's kind of what I mean, right? Where it's like the people that are coming at it aren't even making sense. Like people in my comment section are saying that Modulo has completely erased the story of the original Jujutsu Kaisen, and essentially Gojo's entire plight was meaningless because all of the entire world has failed, and actually Gege ruined the story more than he ever did. When like here you are, music quite literally admitting, and also me who has read 5 chapters of it, saying that Yeah, Modulo actually does a great job of showing how the world changed after this new era of Jujutsu, after Gojo and the era that he built involved. Curses only spawn in Shinjuku now. Curse spirits are effectively reduced to only occurring in one spot, and they haven't had a special grade curse spirit be born since Sukuna's death. Jujutsu sorcerers don't even really deal with curses anymore. They deal with criminal curse users, and they deal with paranormal small scale paranormal investigations. They're like peacekeepers. Like literally, like sorcerers becoming weaker makes sense because there's peacetime. There's insane amounts of peacetime. If there aren't special grade curses being born, sorcerers are going to become weaker. We know that because the story explains that, because Gojo specifically heightened the level of sorcery in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, you have to remember, Naobito Zenin in Shibuya, when they're fighting Dagon, specifically out loud says, we're really living in a day and age where one special grade can fight 3 grade 1 level sorcerers at the same time. He goes, holy crap, what a time to be alive. Naobito saying that is literally directly implying that until Gojo was born, curses like the disaster curses didn't show up. That's why the Jujutsu ranking system is so fucking dated and old, because they were not built to handle an era where a person like Gojo Satoru was born. That influenced everything to grow. And the best part is that shows how Gege understands this is in the first page of the most recent chapter of chapter 5. In this weak generation of sorcerers that we have had time and time again explained that we have grown weaker, there's no one that compares to people from that era. We have a scene of a girl awakening to Jujutsu randomly, and we have multiple times explained to us that paranormal things are beginning to grow in scale. And before, when curses were barely left inside of Shinjuku, they are now starting to expand, and things are starting to happen outside of Tokyo. And that's all because the aliens are appearing. What has been said to us? When a strong power integrates itself into this world, the world will respond by creating strong things in response to that being. 50,000 Sumerian aliens that are all supposedly special grade level, potentially Sukuna level, are hovering over Japan right now. And we see that Gege is showing that this is going to have an effect on the world. Right now, we are in the weakest we've ever been, and things are definitely, low level and weak and, peace times and shit. But it's about to get crazy because this new power has evolved and made itself known. So, yeah, like I said, personally, I think like Modulo is killing it, and like I said, like a lot of it I feel like comes from very young people. It's the same kind of thing I noticed when it came to Attack on Titan, right? Where like a lot of the reasons why people don't like the ending of Attack on Titan is specifically because of the epilogue scene where 100 years, 200 years into the future, Paradise gets bombed, when like it's a very, in my opinion, childish and immature idea to think that, all right, we killed everyone, we killed Sukuna, we killed all these people. The world is going to be great now. Like all of the clans, we all hold hands and we all love each other, and we solved all of our problems, guys. We never have any issues ever again. It's all great. When it's like, no. Even with Gojo's new era of sorcerers tearing Jujutsu Society down and building it back up, like people use the thing like, oh, the Gojo clan are suppressing Yuka and Maki, Yuka and Tsurugi, like they're just doing the same thing. They accomplish nothing. Shitty people are always going to abuse their positions of power to get ahead. Criminals taking advantage of the idea that sorcery was revealed to the world and they can abduct Japanese people to use as fucking actual batteries. Like, that stuff is just the natural cycle of the world. These people think that like all crime should have been ended and like the world should be perfect, but also at the same time, why isn't, Sukuna reincarnated, and why aren't we fighting the strongest special grade that has ever existed since Sukuna, and we get peak Yuji that's 60 years old and has become a fucking force of nature that could actually just one punch Gojo, even though there was literally no single threat comparable to a special grade curse after the culling game. So it's like you can't you want it both ways. You can't have it you can't have it both ways. We wanted everything to be solved and then randomly threats happen out of nowhere, which again makes less overall sense than what Modulo has actually done. So it's just like, yeah, I could yap forever. That's very clear because I've said this is going to be the last thing I say for the longest time. But I think Aaron was right for a myriad of reasons, but that's neither here nor there. That'd be a different streamer discussion entirely. It would be a different streamer discussion entirely because I completely disagree. Genocide is never the answer. Aaron was wrong. Literally any other alternative would have been better than the rumbling. But you're right because I will yap for 8 hours when it comes to the Attack on Titan ending. I have such strong opinions on the Attack on Titan ending that yeah. And you know what? What a perfect way to end. Mr. Original Thought saying, he literally says, "You are my Maharaga, not Megumi's." Something that we have already debunked and talked about, beyond reasonable doubt at this point earlier in the stream. Just like absolutely insane how like people use like small little like sentences to like prove something that is so very obviously proven untrue by everything else in the series. But y'all, I completely love and appreciate you. Thank you so much, Animatrix, for the clapping seal. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for popping into the stream. Make sure you go to the second channel, No More Operator or No Operator 2. Go check out the second channel because I did just release, I believe, the chapter review of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo Chapter 5, or it will be out soon. And yeah, second channel has all my Kagurabachi content, all of my Sakamoto Days, Don to Don, Chainsaw Man, Gotcha Kuta. If you read any of those series, especially Modulo, go check out my second channel. Or if you're just looking for more content to binge in general, again, my main channel has plenty of fucking shit, dude. I've got power scaling stuff with calculations, all that stuff, cross-verse, all that. I got plenty of Jujutsu Kaisen rankings, plenty of other series rankings and videos, and I've got plenty of other shit coming very, very soon. I've got Red vs. Ash coming in the next couple of days. Look forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I want to do a Pokemon stream super soon again. So, like, yeah, guys, plenty of content to look at. Thank you, Mario, for posting the second channel link. I appreciate that. Link to the second channel is in the chat. And again, don't be scared to check out the main channel because I'm sure you could find something to binge on the main channel that you have not seen yet. But guys, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for arguing with me. Even if we disagree, just know I love you and I appreciate you for hanging out with my content. I don't hate anyone that thinks differently than me. Even if you think I do, I promise you I don't. I love doing streams like this because I personally just like to debate and argue and just discuss things. And even though I may come off as passionate and confident, that's just because I know what I'm saying and I back up my words with sources, not because I think I'm better than people, right? I never do that. I think we're all great people, and even if we disagree, just know that I love you and I appreciate you as a person. I'm sending you that spirit bomb energy, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Everyone have a beautiful rest of your night. Goodbye.